Hey everybody, we are live and we're broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the Milky Way galaxy where we already know who the president is going to be. Welcome to Broadcast from the Dispatch. Hey everybody.
What's going on? What's going on? Like that intro you had there going on.
Bro, I'm on the delay.
Oh, hold on. See, my phone's over here being really weird right now. All right. We're good. We're good. It's one of those nights. It's going to be one of those nights where we shoot from the hip and just go how we go.
Just go how we go, kind of like the country right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Oh, not a laughing matter. Shut up, Brett.
Really
anyway. So tonight is our first Indie Comics Dispatch team night, and we have reviewers with us. We have article writers with us. We have Aaron Dowan from Beards and Comics podcast, because they do the same thing we kind of do, but better and more interesting. So I invited them on as honorary Indie Comics Dispatch team members. Matt was supposed to be here too from the podcast, but he hated us. So anyway, he had to work. You know, what's going on in your life other than election stuff here?
Oh man, just company stuff, comics, main gig, comics. That's really it. Just try to keep my nose to the ground with comics and stuff like that. Been busy lining things up. Like it's a lot going on, and then with the cosplay contest and stuff that just happened, so that was a big deal. And gonna be sending out rewards for that, and then I was part of another pretty cool situation that was set up by someone that I know, one of my friends. So I'm gonna be sending out stuff for that. But yeah. It's really cool. It's comics. It's really setting up escape. Like I said, like I was telling you earlier, it's time to take the gloves off.
Yep. Well, we have at my house, so October 31st is Halloween, and people are going to hate me for this. I know people will hate me for this. November 1, we take down Halloween decorations and start decorating for Christmas. So we have been decorating for Christmas since Sunday.
Well, I get it, because how you talked before, we don't really celebrate, that day. I mean, family
I can
day.
eat. I can eat a good family meal with my Christmas tree up.
Yeah,
I can enjoy a bird with my Christmas tree up. So
exactly. So, and I won't even say the name of that day. Everybody knows the name of that day.
Exactly.
Freaking.
I want to give a disclaimer going into this. My audio is kind of wacky in my headset tonight, so just take that. And two, we don't really have a real outline for tonight. We have some stuff we're going to talk about that I want to guide us through, but other than that, nothing real. So we're going to rely on you guys out there watching to send us questions, send us comments, send us cool books you're reading right now, send us Kickstarter links that we can check out.
Exactly.
Send us stuff so that we can talk about it and we can see what you have going on out there also.
Exactly. So, it's going to be a shoot from the hip night.
It is. It is.
And just have fun with it. So send those questions in and let's have a conversation.
All right. Speaking of a conversation, let's welcome in First Team Manning. First, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Now, First is one of our reviewers. He's written several reviews on the site. I always love First reviews. I forget how I said it before, but they come from a place of empathy and heart and personal point of view, and I love it. Also, a new ICD team member, also a member of the Wingless Comics team, Malachi Bailey joining us.
What's going on, Malachi?
What's up?
Now, if a lot of people don't know yet, Malachi's going to be writing a monthly article for us about a kind of fan casting of indie comic book each month. So I'm excited for that, man.
Yeah, I really am. What you did last time I was reading the last fight that we had, and that was dope.
It really was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was cool. So I can't wait to see what you do next. And I'm looking at it too, and I'm just like, I know one day one of my characters are going to be in there, but I'll just see you like a character profile. I'm like, here you go.
Malachi's team came out for that.
Yeah, you do well.
Oh yeah, you know. Got the support.
And welcoming honorary Indie Comics Dispatch team member Aaron Dowan to the stream, the Count of Monte Cristo. Sorry.
That's Crisco's a completely different kind of count.
Completely different thing, and we don't need.
I didn't know it was that kind of show.
We have an E rating for a reason. Aaron, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, man, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Aaron has become a friend of the show and just has a cool podcast of his own, Beards and Comics, and I got to host the Catalyst Comics preview night for Tilt 3, and I had a blast doing that. And so Aaron and Matt are both great guys. If you don't like our podcast and want to listen to a better one, go find Beards and Comics. Come on. No, we kind of do different stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
It's cool. We can both exist.
Different beasts. Yep.
And now, by audio only, because he's driving to an undisclosed location in the western part of the United States, Brian Lambert is going to join us. Brian's a friend of the show. He's been pushing hard, and I've been trying to help with this 3-studio crossover event, and we have big news tonight, Brian. Brian, can you hear me?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yes.
Tell us the news.
We made goal earlier today.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, man. We got a very, very nice, final push support, as I like to call it. And it kind of put us right over the goal. So, we are exactly where we want to be. And that's, everybody that's helped us, we just want to say thank you. And we're very, very proud. And we're going to bring you something that you have never seen before.
It's really awesome. 101% funded right now. I'm trying to pull up the Kickstarter right this moment because, like I said earlier, I'm a little bit behind tonight. That's my fault, but here we go. Nightfall Part 1, Dark Horizons, 101% funded, $5,079, 140 backers. Still 10 days to go. So, Brian, what you got to tell us about Kickstarter rewards or stretch goals? I mean,
so I am not going to tell you about stretch goals, but for the dispatch, I am going to let you know that tomorrow I will be posting pictures of a possible additional merchandise item that it's going to be a winner. It's going to be it's something that everybody will like, something that everybody will enjoy. It looks flashy, and it's something that people in indie comics haven't done this way. I'm not saying like we didn't invent a robot, nothing like that. But
not yet.
It's a piece of merchandise that nobody in indie comics has done, and I guarantee that our fans and our supporters and let's just say sport lovers will love it.
Mm-hmm. So
that's the only hint you get, man.
It's a cup. I get it.
It's a sticker. Yeah, cool. A sticker.
Yeah. Oh. Well, Brian, we know you're driving. You can stay with us as long as you want. You can go whenever you like to. We won't hate you. You just do what you got to do, man. Aaron said he would hate you, but I will not hate you.
That was private chat, man. That was in the private chat. Yeah, we were going to have John Romita Jr. on tonight, but he got caught in counting votes in Pennsylvania, apparently, so he couldn't be here tonight.
Couldn't make it. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time, John. Oh, guys, what have you been reading lately? What's been good? Maybe what's being nice to people still? What's maybe not made your top 10 list that you'd like to see maybe a second issue out of that could correct some errors?
I think the two last books that I read were the ones, of course, I'm doing reviews on. So Sidekick for Hire, and then Wall Breakers. And Wall Breakers was, man, I know you've seen it. Like, I don't know if you've seen it, Aaron, or Malachi.
No.
You may have seen it in the folder and everything, but I looked at that book and I was starting off looking at it, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, at first, when you get the first glance, it was like the cover was colored like like a monochrome muted type colors and everything, but it was penciled. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm looking at it, and as I flip the page, I'm like, hold on, is this all pencil? And I'm looking through it. I'm like, wait, this dude didn't ink it. And me being an inker, like I had noticed that right at the top. I was like, whoa, he didn't ink it. This is all pencils. And I'm looking at the detail, and the detail is immaculate. Like, it's so beautiful, this book, and it's all done in pencils. And then also me being a letterer, the next thing that I noticed, and I told Britt, I was like, Britt, you got to go look at this book right now. This dude hand lettered the entire book.
And I did. I looked at it. I pulled it up on my phone and I zoomed into the letters. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I was like, "Is it me?" And so that right then and there, when I saw that, like just the reviewer in me, I was like, "Okay, there has to be a mistake somewhere." And I'm looking through this book, and I'm like, "This dude hand lettered this book and didn't make mistakes." Like, like, are you serious? And I mean, I know like a lot of people go, "Well, that's not a big," hand letter was done way huge in the past, but then of course they moved it and changed it to the I forgot the film. It was like they started using another film where they would place over in the bubbles too. They started doing that when they moved away from hand letter. Of course, now everything's digital lettering. But just to see that, I was like, man, that was refreshing. That's probably one of the most beautiful books I think I've seen in a while, and that's putting my books up against it. Like, I'm just saying, but like seriously, that's one of the most beautiful books I have seen in a while. If y'all get a chance, check out Wahlberg, because I think it's supposed to be. It was on Comixology. Went up there last week, right?
Last week. 99 cents, I think, is all it is to get it on Comixology. From Snowy Works as the publisher. And small tease, we got something super top secret and special in the works between the Dispatch and Snowy Works. So look for news.
Seeing that book, I was like, "Yep, gotta step my game up." So after reading that, I was like, "Oh man, if this is what the indie world is going to, oh man!" But like I say, I'll say it all the time. I think I say it every show. Like, the indie world to me is like we're the future. Like seeing that, I was like, okay, the future is most definitely in good hands, because there's a lot of awesome creators out there, and I can tell that he really took his time, doing that. But like, obviously, because hand lettering, like that's wild.
And the writer artist of all that on Instagram is at Simpler Boulder, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So check him out. It's published through Snowy Works. So first, what you got for us, man?
Well, what I'm currently reading right now, of course, it's an independent comic through Image. I don't know if y'all ever heard of it's by John Layman. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's called Chew.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah,
I think so.
It's actually a very, very good book. It's crazy because it's about three siblings. The older brother, he's a detective, and you have the two twin sisters. And they have some type of psychic ability where when they eat certain things, they can tell you exactly what happened to it. So imagine eating a piece of chicken and you actually see how the chicken was slaughtered.
Oh,
So that makes sense. So
I have to stop eating baby. I mean, that would just I couldn't do it anymore.
It was crazy. So he would eat the piece of chicken, he see what actually happened, how it actually died, who killed it, what the chicken saw, and he can't eat it. But so what he actually did, he would actually go to the crime scenes. Like if someone was shot, he would chew on the body, and he can tell you exactly how the person died and who.
Wow,
weird, kind of funky.
That is, that's creative.
It is
really,
but
yeah.
I really do like it. And his sister, who's a criminal, of course, how her psychic ability is when she eats something either with you or either near it, like if you make like the building that you're gonna have her break into. If you fix the food and you shape it in the building, she can eat it and tell you all the different exits where you can go, where you can hide the cameras and stuff like that. Or if she's sitting next to you and she orders exactly what you order, she can eat with you and find out all of your secrets, everything about you, what other people don't know, which I think that's an amazing ability.
That's a good ability to have on the first date.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. Is this person
the
gonna
burger
kill
and the
you? Yeah,
fries, same
don't
thing.
date them. No blind date. No second date. Sorry. And yeah, and her twin sister is pretty much she can eat with her sister or either eat with someone, and she can see what happened and she can tell that something's wrong. So it's a good ability. So I'm
So
on
if the
number
brother
3.
eats the two sisters, he gets all the abilities. Is that how that happens, or is that only available in Alabama? I don't understand.
Oh Lord,
Sounds like the
I
hero's
hope he
plot.
doesn't.
It does sound like a hero's plot. You're right.
I'm hoping he doesn't, but it's I don't think he won't take on their abilities. That's his own ability. But
Okay. Okay.
they do have an unofficial trailer on YouTube
Hmm.
of it. So I'm hoping it's gonna become a series or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Have to
it's
check it out.
so nice
Chew.
title Chew.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 versions of it. There's Chew CHU, which is their last name. There's Chew CHEW, which is actual Chew. And if they eats, they can't tell what happened. So he eats beets a lot, so he can't see it when he eats. So imagine chewing on a piece of rib and seeing how that cow was slaughtered. Yeah, it's no fun.
Yeah, that'll be horrible.
Malachi, what do you got? Something a little less graphic?
So right now I'm about to start reading the book from Black Sands, with the indie comic book.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to start that, but I'm a huge Marvel fan. So earlier today I was reading the latest chapters to the X-Men's X of Swords, and it was X-Men number 14 and Marauders number 14, I believe. And many of you guys probably don't know. Probably Brett and Brian know, but I'm a huge Storm fan. So the cover to Marauders number 14, it shows her doing a dance with death, literally. So I've been reading that, and I'm also on my spare time. I'm just getting my my manuscript ready for my sequel to the novel that I wrote a couple years ago. So trying to take it easy. Today has been very taxing and draining and annoying and all those good things. So yeah, I'm trying to just find little things to keep me from going insane.
I feel you.
I hear you.
Oh, I understand.
Aaron, what you got for us?
I'm sorry, was there something going on? I'm just
No, it's just
okay.
Slow news cycle day. Nothing really.
Gotcha. Okay, same stuff, different day.
Just Michigan being sued for no apparent reason.
That's right. Don't worry, it's not going to be the only lawsuit.
No.
Yeah. So on Chew, that did get optioned for television.
Yes.
The artist, and it's actually CHU is a spinoff of the CHEU, but the guy that was on the CHEU one, Rob Gilroy, he also does that book through Image called Farmhand. I don't know if you guys have ever read that. That's really if you like Chew, then you'll love Farmhand because it's the same feel. It's about a dude that he decides to move back to his family farm. And the guy that runs it, which is, I think it's a grandfather. I haven't read it in a while. He has this farm, but it's body parts. Like that's what he farms, but it's like an actual farm. So it's pretty, it's intense. It's cool though. But that one's still going, I think, or it might be wrapping up soon. But Rob Gilroy's the guy that he was part of Chew, but he also does this book. I've been reading. I'm a recent convert to the Milky family. So I just read through that this past weekend because I'm super behind on stuff. That is a fantastic story.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it being in the creative realm, it's nice to see people formulate a story, especially when it's a short run and it still feels like it got the whole story across.
That's the only complaint I think I had with Milky was that it was a short run.
Yeah, it was.
That was it.
I just said that to Matt yesterday. I was like, dude, that's the only thing I'm missing is I feel like it could have been a little bit longer. But you know, it's indie comics.
Yeah,
we gotta pay for this
we
stuff.
we do what we can.
That's right. So that and Black Jackets 1 and 2 is still. I've read back through it a couple times. He's been posting some stuff for issue 3 coming up, so I'm pretty pumped to jump back into that world. He's doing some cool stuff too. Really nice guy too.
Yeah. Brian, you got anything for us?
I've been reading a couple, but I've been, kind of caught up, I guess I could say. I'm really into, I really want to see what Mighty Hero Studios does with their newest Kickstarter for The Unthinkables. Because their books are really, really great. So I read back through Super in the last couple of days, which is a pretty good series that's unfortunately probably cut short and over at this point. And I just finished Talasha, the Stars 1 and 2, because I realized I had number 2 and I read it. And I kind of didn't understand what was going on because I thought it was number 1 and it wasn't. And so I had to go back and backtrack. And that's a series with a lot of promise. So, hopefully we continue to see issues and some work from them. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I recently read, somebody sent in for a review. God, my name's going completely blank at them, and I had it just until I was going to say his name. But the title of the book is Some Strange Disturbances, and they have 2 volumes out now, and a 3rd volume just funded and the 3rd volume is about Christmas ghost stories. But it's set in Victorian England, and it's fantastic, especially with inclusion and representation and some of the stuff that Victorian England wasn't very good on. It calls it out, and it just is amazing. And at first I was like, well, the art in it is kind of, it's okay. And then at the end they show these clippings of Victorian illustrations from the newspapers, and it's illustrated like a freaking Victorian newspaper. They took that illustration style. Yeah, it was so freaking cool. And they interweaved real events through it. And it's about a guy who has paranormal abilities. He can kind of see the dead. And it's never really explained to what extent, but he can sense them at least. He can see them sometimes. And him kind of sort of solving a mystery around a wealthy person's son. So it is really good. If you guys want to check it out, I definitely want to get volumes 2. I was bummed I read it and then I missed that volume 3 of the Christmas ghost stories being funded on Kickstarter, so now I'm gonna have to wait till they release it to buy it. So first, not to pick on you, but you brought up something that I've been meaning to actually do a video about for a while. I don't consider Image indie, and I feel like once you're a multi-million-dollar publishing house, you're no longer indie. So what do you guys think about that? Because I've been meaning to do a video on this for a while, and it's perfect timing. I'm not picking on you, I promise.
Well, excuse.
A lot of people consider it indie, and so I get it, because they're creator-owned comics, and so a lot of people still consider that independent.
I kind of feel the same.
Somebody actually asked a question on my Twitter. And it said, what would you do if Marvel and DC went bankrupt? So my answer was, I would just do what I've been doing, go straight into independent comics. Because, I mean, it just seems like to me like Marvel and DC, they love repeating themselves a lot. And they love, I have never seen so many variants in my life. It's like, how many variants can you have of one book? Especially the Joker War, you have like 3 or 4 variants. I'm like, okay, I just want the book with the first appearance and just leave me alone.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
You said 3 or 4. I think that one had like 16 different variant covers.
It really did,
certain retail exclusive variant covers, and that's just,
one was like
right.
$3.99, the other one was like $40. I'm like, it's just a blank cover with the person standing there. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly.
I was upsetting.
It kind of saturated everything with all the variants, and like you were saying, like the one that was $40 is like, you got 16 variants. Why are you selling one for $4? Like if it was one variant and you had, you know, because I know they usually get hundreds of thousands of copies printed, probably millions of copies printed, but like they've moved away from the ideal of variant, you know, and so they have these variants, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get as many variants as we get normal copies printed. And I'm like, no, that's not a variant, because like
variants work.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like it's even for me, like when I do my variants, like I keep it to where it's at least 3. That's it. But I have for my Temple High book, I have a themed variant that's based off of like a Saved by the Bell. There's only 25 of those. Yeah, I'm not a big person, but there's only 25, and that's even when I get bigger, that's how I'm gonna keep it, because that's how it used to be with variants. You know, they come out with variants, and you're like, well, how many are these? Oh, there's only 100. You're scrambling to get them, and then someone has it. Hey, I got it, and then that's what brought the value up in variants and stuff like that. But yeah, they saturated the market with variants, so it's like most people are getting tired of them. I think I bought a variant for I think it was Justice League Dark, and it had Wonder Woman on it. It would look really cool, so I was just like, oh, I'll get that variant. But that was like the last variant I bought willingly from DC or Marvel. I probably bought a variant accidentally because they have so many of them out there, but that was the last one I bought willingly from them. But yeah, they're doing too much with the variant stuff. Like they
are. And what is the deal? What is the deal with the same cover, one with the title and one without the title? I'm like,
yeah, like even with that, like, because what they're doing is like those are the Virgin variants.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna do a Virgin variant, do a different variant.
Yeah, a different cover. Don't do the same cover and just take the title off and then add $50 more to it.
Exactly. No. But it's like with everything. It's like even though
there goes that idea.
Okay.
Well, that brings up an interesting question for me. How do you guys feel about variant covers in indie comics? Like, does it really matter? Indie comics are so small. Does it even matter?
If it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the cover, because I've purchased comic books just because I love the cover.
Exactly. And just like
never read it, but I love the cover.
Yep.
Like, there's moderation though. I mean, you can't have an excessive amount of variant covers. Mm-hmm. It's boring.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. There's one Kickstarter. I can't even remember which one I backed recently. Probably something from Catalyst Comic Studios. No, I'm just joking. But it wasn't you guys. But on the reward tiers, there was like 6 different variants, and I'm just no.
Not us.
How? I don't even know this artist. You know, like I don't care.
Exactly. That's too much. Like even for Stars, like when I did Stars, I had the main cover, the cosplay variant, and then the Virgin variant, and that's it. And at one point, I used to do sketch covers because there's an individual here who's a sketch cover artist. Like he just buys sketch covers to draw on them and then resell and stuff like that. So I was doing them for that. But I even stopped adding those to the Kickstarter because no one really wanted them. So that's how I do. I do the main cover, Virgin variant, and then I might just do either a themed variant, and that's it. Like, because like you said, we're indie. Not too many people know who we are, but when they go and see that stuff, they're like, "Oh, cool, he has a variant." You know, as long as it's not 6, because then they get confused. And they're like, "I don't know which one I want." You know, or I'm just gonna walk away from this. You know, so especially if you're not known. Because I have a friend, the one who does Miskatonic High. I think he usually has about 3 or 4 variants, but he's known and people want his books, so he can get away with that easily. You know, there are people like I even went in there and I bought like three copies of the same issue because I wanted all the covers.
It still aggravates me though. I don't care. I don't know. It just bothers me. We did a variant edition of our book for Welcome to Everville. We did an actual it was black, white, and red interior, and the cover was different, and then we hand splattered it with paint, so it made it a little bit specialer for people. And that one is selling. It sold better at a show without the splatter than our regular books. Basically, the little show we did at a comic shop, every single person that bought Welcome to Everville bought that black, white, and red variant. And so we were like, oh my God, we didn't have to color this book in the first place. We could have just done this the whole time. Save some money on coloring.
Yeah, but that goes back to your question, Brett. Is Image an indie comics? Are they indie comics? And everything we all mention here is mistakes we made, things we've learned from. You know, to me, that's the ideal of indie, because we're all going to make mistakes. Yeah. Once you get past that point and you're no longer making mistakes and you're driving things home, you're considered one of the big 3. You're not indie anymore. You're not.
Yeah.
Like even if I get to the point where if I'm there, or Catalyst gets to the point where they replace DC, we're not indie
Please.
Yeah.
I don't want that, because then I'm going to have to put out 40 variants for a comic issue just to keep my business afloat.
Yep, exactly.
So many agendas for business meetings you're going to have.
What was that first?
With no name on top of it. You got to have one with the title, one without the title.
Right.
You don't know. You don't know what if that's Venom 27 or 28 or 30. You gotta do it that way too.
It's a virgin now.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love Image. Image puts out great stories because they don't confine and restrict their creators, and so I think that's why a lot of people consider them independent, because the creators are kind of independent in that they get to do what they want to do, but they're multi-million-dollar publishing house.
Yeah. I do consider them indie because of the creators, but I consider them different than what we are, which is small press publishers.
Yeah. Good point.
I'm trying to start driving that distinction, because people, I know perception's finally changing, but when you tell people you're an indie comics creator now, if they're not already in this little realm and in this world, then they think, oh, so you're just trying to be like the big. Nah, man, we're a small press publisher putting out great content, so go check out our books. Like, it just sounds better.
Yeah. And you know where that's already kind of caught on is in the UK to be referred to as small press publishers versus indie comics. I noticed that with some of my other interviews from across the pond. Hello, chap. Sorry. I'm sorry, UK people. I'm really sorry.
That was bad. That was really bad.
Brian's always telling me the truth. He hasn't said a word, and they've got to tell me I did a worse accent ever. Thanks, Brian. So Brian's here. I know Brian's answer, but he can answer anyway. What are some of the Kickstarters you are most looking forward to right now?
What, me?
Brian, say Nightfall. Yeah, say Nightfall.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's this great one from Wingless Comics right now. It's a small type here crossover. I think we're gonna hit like a little bit of a lull, but I think we had a lot of great ones that just happened. You had Crescent City Monsters, you had Isnana, you had Stronghold, Alchemist, Titan the Ultraman from Advent Comics, The Unthinkables again from Unlike the Hero Studios. God, there's so many. Matthew Jones just did voice again. There are a ton that just happened in like the last 2 months, and it might slow down. It might not in November going into December, because of the holiday season. But there have been honestly a ton of great ones. Arid, I think it's Aridus. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but it's from Subsumi Media, and it's like an interactive sci-fi comic video game. I just pledged for it today. I'm really excited to see what they do, because it should open up some new avenues for everyone in terms of interactivity.
That's awesome. What about you guys? What Kickstarters are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to getting some stuff in from Kickstarters.
Me too.
Yeah. the last month was stacked.
Wow.
I know like Cthulhu Invades Oz is one I'm looking forward to.
Yes. I just pledged to that.
Yeah, man, that's a bunch of good people that we get to hang out with and talk to a lot. So I look forward to seeing what they're doing. I know he has a pretty big announcement that I might have something to do with after they fund, is all I'm saying. So there's that. There was another one I just backed. I don't remember what it is anymore. Dang, I back too much, man. It's getting crazy.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know.
Like I have a lot. I've backed a lot. So many indie comics. That's where it's at now. Like I've just been reading a lot of different indie creators and stuff, because
same here.
See all the different ideas and see all the different creativity and everything like that. But I know for me, there's a Kickstarter coming out next month. Beautiful Soldiers. I'm looking forward to that, because I know the creator, so I'm looking forward to that book.
And also, she just opened a comic shop too in Montgomery.
Yep, in Montgomery, Alabama. She just opened. October 31st was opening for Comics and Geeks in Montgomery, Alabama. Just opened up. Did well too, from what she was telling me. So that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Also, Looking forward to doing the Cypher Team issue 1 eventually here in a little bit. And yeah, that's gonna be fun. Can't wait to get my 50 variants on that one. I'm not gonna do that many variants, I promise. It's only gonna be like maybe 1 or 2, maybe probably just 2 this time. Honestly, it'll probably just be the main cover and a Virgin variant. It won't be the same. I promise it won't be the same first. The Virgin variant won't be the same. I won't remove Cypher Team and just sell it. Like I won't do that. I promise.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to Thomas River coming out from Brian Stelfreeze and Doug Wagner. That recently successfully funded. That looks awesome. Sear Nova Comics said Belial. I'm probably saying that wrong. Belial.
Belial.
We'll go with that. Essence House, and I can never say the Invades Oz one either. Cthulhu. See?
He's gonna come to you in your dreams if you don't
I can't do it.
That's right.
There are certain words that my mouth just doesn't make.
Just say Octopus Guy Invades Oz.
Octopus Guy Invades Oz.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's Greg from Sear Nova up there posting. Advanced Genetics. Freaking Craig. I'm two episodes of broadcast in a row where we got freaking Greg in there. Advanced Genetics. This little one called Stars. Tilt 3. God, I back way too much, guys. I'm looking forward to way too many projects.
Yeah, that's the cool part about indies, though.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think you'll ever get tired.
No.
You know, because there's a different genres, title for everyone. You go from kiddie to dark as hell and back.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean,
well, my 4 that are ending the soonest goes from Early Haunts, which is a ghost an anthology of ghost stories, One Nation Old, Nomads by Ryan Tavares, to Nightfall. I mean, it's just like we're all over the place right there in genres.
Yeah.
Digital Pools after that, which is a techno thriller. I mean, it's just crazy.
And I think I got my copy. I got to read it. I'm gonna sit down one day and drink a beer and read it. Trying to get beer on it, but
and don't the Unicorn Vampire Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what?
Caleb. Caleb.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that one. That looks fun.
What is it called again? Unicorn Vampire Slayer or something?
Vampire Hunter. It's cute. It's different. Really? Yeah, it's different, but you know, I definitely want to see that, and I also I'm looking forward to seeing Titan, the Ultraman.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, from Advent. Is that Advent comic?
Yeah, that's Advent.
Beautiful artwork. Really, really nice. And Tony Cottrell, he's a great guy. So I look forward to seeing what he has in store for us.
Yeah, he has a plethora of titles too. He has a lot of titles. He's doing big things over in Advent.
Yeah, he does. He is. I got, what was the last one they put out? It's kind of got a Punisher vibe to it. My mind's gone completely blank. Anyway, it was good though. It was good. Just believe me. Hey, we're over halfway through the show right now. If you're on Instagram, our timer runs out at 59 minutes, 59 seconds. So you may want to switch to YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. We're on Twitter too. Just there's a lot of election shit going on Twitter.
What's
so you
Twitter? How about you just join us elsewhere?
Exactly. That's the place you do not wander into. Not alone. Yeah. I'm going to Twitter.
Twitter is a hellhole of opinions.
You will never make it to this broadcast on Twitter. It's not going to
happen. Not to go to Twitter.
So this is the point of the show where I love to show the Black Indie Comics distro ad. So we're going to show that right now because we are big supporters of the Black Indie Comics distro. If you are a creator, contact them. They're kind of full right now, I think, on creators, but they're always looking for the next great thing. If you're an online comic shop, if you're a brick and mortar comic shop, contact them. They will send you indie comics created by Black and people of color. Here we go. Here's their ad.
BIC, we just wanted to bring the vibe of like an indie comic convention to the retailers.
For you out there right now, those of you who always are coming to conventions and saying, can you find your comics on the web? Well, now you can at bigdistro.com.
Like the creativity and the art and the writing is comparable to mainstream comics, and in some instances even superior.
You know who's not featured in the Big Distro? John Romita Jr.
I'm telling you, one day you're going to get emails like the entirety of the.
I'm hoping it's not an email. I'm hoping it's a cease and desist letter. To be honest,
that's probably what it's going to be. Cease and desist.
Let him
You're just going to come to your door, knock. You've been served.
I got 7 kids. He's not getting anything out of me. Anyway, Big Distro, check them out. They are fantastic, especially. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Encased Comics. Encased Comics is an online comic shop. It has a lot of slabbed comics, but a growing selection of indie comics. He's been backing a lot of retail tiers on Kickstarter, and great guy, heart for indie comics, and so check them out too if you haven't yet. Encasedcomics.com, I believe, is the URL. So what have we read recently that doesn't stack up? You don't have to call anybody out if it's bad. We are all about the positivity on Indie Comics Dispatch, but we're also a review site, so it's okay to be honest sometimes.
I'll just say I'm a reviewer. Go to the website. But the person that I did review that book has hella potential. That story has hella potential.
And I'm not going to mention any names, but you gave a 2.5-star review, which is actually the lowest review we'll publish. If our review is going to be lower than that, we don't publish it. So 2.5 is pretty just like it's all right.
Yeah,
right. It's got potential, but it's got some problems.
Yeah.
But that person who you reviewed responded beautifully and thanked you for the feedback.
Yes, they did, and I appreciated that, because I did kind of feel bad about it, looking at it. But like I said, for me, the story and the premise and the direction they were going, I loved it. I was like, okay, this has incredible potential, but they had to grow in certain areas, like things that we all learn in the indie comic, community and stuff like that. As far as if you can't draw, get an artist, if you can't ink, get an inker, if you can't color, get a colorist. If you're not that good with editing, get a professional editor. Same thing with lettering, just to help grow your stock that much more, and those were pointers that I did give them. And yeah, they were appreciative of it. So I felt better when they came back and was like, wow, thank you for that. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, they weren't mad, and probably the way that I wrote it for them too. But like I said, when I was reading the story, I was like, man, the story has potential. And that was one thing I told them too. I was like, don't let this review stop you. Keep going forward, because this story has amazing potential and it could be something great, so they took that, and I'm ready to see the next issue. I want to see what they do, how they grow from it. So
And I will say, starting soon, once we get a few more reviews of, now that the election's done, I can start posting some more reviews. My brain and emotions have just been engulfed. And so we haven't had a ton of reviews this past week, and that's my fault. But I was also without power for like 36 hours because of Tropical Storm Zeta. I know, right? I mean, I did have a phone.
Candles,
I did have a phone.
Should have paid the bill, man.
I reviewed one recently, also on the site. So I don't think I finished that thought. Soon on the site, you'll be able to sort by rating on the site to see our top-rated comics and the lowest-rated comics, if you will. But I reviewed one that I'm not going to mention anything about plot or anything. You can go to the site, search through for lower-rated comics, and the reception of our review was not so great. Even though 2.5 is at like right average, you got some issues, you got some potential. This person was really thinking their book was a 5-star, and it is just far from a 5-star.
Yeah. And that's one thing. That's one thing I want to say too, like to indie creators out there, because I've had a couple of my books create, and I'm pretty sure all of us who create comics have had our books, reviewed. And I always go in.
I have not reviewed her yet, but I will.
We got to get that one up there. We got to get her up there. but I always go in there open mind, like, oh my God, they're going to destroy this book. That's how I always go in, with that mindset. I never go in like, yeah, this is going to be the best thing on their website. Like, come on. Like, most of these reviewers, a lot of us grew up with comics. We know how to break down comics. We're probably comic creators ourselves, so we see different things. And I think that's what a lot of people do. And I think that's the reason why you probably got the reception you got from it, because they thought they had the best thing since sliced bread. And even I went back and looked at it, and I was like, well, you're nicer than I would have been. So, I mean, but, you know, so, I mean, I think I'm going to get that reputation of being the mean guy. Like, don't let Tara review it. Oh, my gosh. You're going to slaughter it. But I'm not. Like, I just love good stories. And that's my biggest drive is story. And you all know when you see mechanics up there, I was the one that suggested that part, because a lot of indie comics, we fell in the mechanics part. We're just like, let's get the book out there. And we fell in that mechanics part. And that's, if we're going to be that next step and be better than, you know, the ones that we're going against, we definitely got to make sure we have the mechanics. We definitely got to make sure our story is hitting pitch for pitch. We got to make sure that if we put a fight scene in there, it's not just to say, wow, look at the guy use his powers. You know, it's a point. It's a reason. It's there for a reason, you know. And I think that's where a lot of things fell. But, you know, that's the thing about it. Well, small press. Yeah, we're pushing small press now, right?
Small press. Yeah, we're the small press dispatch now.
That's the thing with small press. You know, like, we gotta. It's all about growth, man. We're gonna make mistakes. That's gonna happen. I just think that is weird whenever people who are in small press and they make a mistake and then they get their review and they're like, "What? This is better than X-Men #1." No, it's not.
No, it's not. And that's why I'm actually really proud of our rating system that we came up with as a team, and about how it really balances out rating. Because too often I look at a lot of other indie comics review websites because they're competition, and they'll either be like,
"No, this is all one big happy family."
One big happy family, yes, sir.
No one's at odds with each other.
I want to be the king of this happy family.
Okay.
No, but there are some really good ones out there that I do consider family, and there are other ones that I think, you know, you're just being mean or you're just not giving an honest review. There are so many that are just giving 1 stars just to be a dick, I think, and then a lot that are just glossing over books that have real issues.
Because I know for me, one of my biggest pet peeves, and I know, like I said, all of us are creators, and you probably have the same pet peeve, but I always hated when someone will read something and they're like, "Oh, it sucked." Well, why did it suck? It just sucked. But why did it suck? You know, so that's one of the things that I wanted to bring to me reviewing comics is I didn't want to be that guy giving it a low rating and not telling you.
Yeah.
Like my low ratings are probably going to be that much more, you know, descriptive as far as this is what you should have did, but this is what you did instead. You know, the lowest ratings are probably going to have the most writing. Because like my 5-star that I did, it didn't have that much writing. Not compared to the 2.5. The 2.5 was like pages.
Yeah, it was a lot longer.
It was long because I wanted them to see like, hey, this is what I was looking at. This is what I saw. This is what you can do. Here's my suggestion. Not saying you have to do that this way. You know, do it this way. And let's see what goes next. You know. But
so often in indie comics, what I see the biggest failing as, and I'm so lucky to have on this show Tyr and Aaron and Malachi as a representative of Wingless Comics, because the biggest
Aaron.
fault I see, I said Aaron, I think I did. I meant to.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
You three are great representatives to have on the show because too often I see dialogue as the biggest downfall within indie comics. It's stale, it's forced, it doesn't come across right. But everything that you three actually put out is really good.
Sorry,
you're laughing, Aaron.
When you said that, a book popped into my mind of something I had read recently.
Was it because I know one book that helped me. Like there's two things that helped me.
I'm gonna call it out.
Yeah. You're talking about a comic.
Oh, okay.
One that didn't do well.
Oh, okay. I thought
it was by someone that's published a lot.
Oh.
And what I hate is like in a comic book, especially in issue 1s in indie comics, a character receives great cosmic power or their origin story, and their response is, "Oh, this is really cool." Like, no.
That sounds so familiar. Where have I seen that?
I think that's it. But yeah, but and it's not just in one comic. Malachi, I know which one came to Malachi's head. But there's lots that happens in where it's like, oh, this is really nice. Yeah. I understand now.
I can use my powers to the full.
I know what I must do.
I'm gonna be the villain that's been a villain for 40 years. How? just like in Stars. My team Stars, they got their asses whooped by the villain. Why? Because she's been a villain for almost a decade. They just started their hero team, so she's dragging the floor with them. Like literally, actually, I'm not gonna say, I don't want to give any spoilers, but literally they had to get help because they were getting like an issue. They're getting their asses whooped. They had to get help. They had to get help from heroes who have been heroing for over a decade because they didn't know what to do, and that's okay. Like I think a lot of people, just like I tell, because it's not just me. Like I do have a team of individuals, and I tell them all the time, like when you start your character off as this mega badass, that's when you run into problems. That's the reason why a lot of writers have issues writing Superman, because Superman was this. He's gotten to the point where he's this mega badass, and everybody's like, well, what can I do with this? If I put him against someone, he's gonna win all the time. So what can I do with this? And it's like you gotta have them grow. And I think that's one of the reasons why manga does so well, because they'll have their protagonists get murdered 75 times before they become. I don't know if any of you ever read Bleach or saw the anime Bleach.
No. But
Ichigo got killed like 48 times before he got to the point where he was
over the course of 4,000 pages.
Exactly. Before he got to this point where he was this mega badass. Like everybody murked him. Everybody was killing him. And he finally became this mega badass, But in American comics, it's like struck by lightning. I'm gonna beat everybody up now, and it's like no.
And then in indie comics, it takes that and it amplifies it, like struck by lightning. Now I must take on the person who murdered my parents. No, man, chill out.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
First, I don't know.
That's gonna get a low mechanics rate for me, because I'm gonna look at it like, oh, so they just got their powers and now they're beating villains who have been there forever. Oh, nope.
First, digging into some of those indie comics for the reviews that you've written, what are some of the common problems that you see in some of these indie comics? Again, not calling anybody out, but when we all learn, we all do better.
True. Dialogue.
Yeah, dialogue is another.
Dialogue is the one that pulls me out of a comic quicker than anything else. I've read some some of these books I'll read from people that I guess you'd call them established. They've been around for a while. Like if I were to say their name, you'd know who I'm talking about. And I'll read it and I'm like, dude, did you say this out loud before you wrote it on paper? Because it helps a lot.
It's funny you say that, because actually I'm starting this thing called pretty much giving tips for dialogue writing. And my first tip 1 is exactly that. Read it out loud.
Yeah, make a conversation.
Which is what I do for all my reviews before I send them in.
Yep.
I read them out loud, and I also put it through Grammarly.
Yep.
And even after Grammarly, I read it out loud again. Yeah, very free website. It's an app on my computer. But the main there's one comic that I've read so far that I kind of gave like a low score. I'm not gonna mention the name, but it's just kind of it started off okay, and then it just went into them coming back together, starting the team again, fighting their own selves, and then all of a sudden this swan just came out of nowhere, killed the swan, man. And then the swan was actually their leader. I'm just like, huh? But I still managed to read through it and find, okay, I understand this. I think that's why if you read my reviews, it's like, really understood the reviews, because I actually take time and read the review and try to be on the writer's perspective and the artist, and to kind of say, okay, I see where they were going with this, so I understand that. So I try to do that. Now I have yet to have a comic from the review pile that was like, okay, no, I'm not even going to do this. I haven't had one, and I think that's why I'm that way.
Yeah.
I'm that way. I'm the type of person. If it's not good, I'm gonna just point out to you, this is crap. Sorry.
But here,
So
Terry, you
that's
can do this one.
yeah. So I'm just like, yeah. I'm still waiting for that one. For you to send me, Brett. That you said that you were reading and
Yeah, I'll have to message you directly with that because I thought
yeah.
I'd share it with you because it is. Yeah, I was going to mention that. Like, there is one, and I wrote a review on issue 1 for it, and then the artist, and it was okay. Like, it left me like, what could happen next? And then issue 2 came, and it was just like, what the hell is happening? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a plot? Like, is this just one bad acid trip?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I think that's another thing too. Other than dialogue, bad mechanics.
Yeah.
A lot of indie creators want to go galactic, universal in their first issue.
Yeah, issue 1. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that. You have to build up to that. Like Marvel, exactly. Like Marvel has so many, individual issues, the individual titles before they introduce their multiverse. They introduce, their other areas. Same thing with DC. Flash was the first one to introduce that, and that was like what I forget what number of Flash that was, but it was when he met the other Flash, which names is escaping me right now.
64.
Which one was it? 64?
I think the year was 1964, but
1964
issue.
Yep, and it was like when he finally met the other Flash. When they were both running. On the cover they had them both running.
Jay Garrick met.
Jay Garrick, yeah. His name was escaping me. I don't know why, but like that was the first time they introduced multiverses and stuff like that. But they had a conduit for it. They didn't just do it. And I have multiverses, and people have asked, they're like, "Do you have multiverses?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "But I'm not introducing it now. I'm not going to do a universal threat now." I'm like, all of the threats are going to be contained to Earth or contained to their cities or contained to their wherever they're at. Because. Going that big, you don't give yourself enough time to.
And how do you go back from that?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's one of the biggest things that you see in DC and Marvel is when you go galactic and you have this threat that's not from our world that's just so intense that you need every member that's ever been in comics before to fight it. How do you go back from that? Oh, well, you just reboot it.
Exactly, and that's how it happens with even with Marvel.
Or you ignore it.
What's that?
Because DC and Milestone did that huge crossover. I thought it was huge. I don't know if it was really huge, but that big crossover late 90s, and then DC just ignored it like it never happened afterwards.
Right. Exactly. And that's the cool part about being indie is we can
ignore whatever we want.
Yeah, we can ignore whatever we want. We can make what happen whatever we want. We can do whatever we want, and we have more control. So that's the part I don't understand why people would jump there. It's like issue 1, and they have an Earthbound hero. Like I can see if it's a space title. Like how I have a space title and he's in other side of the galaxy, it makes sense. But like it's your first issue and you have like this universal galactic threat. I mean, unless it makes sense. Like some people can do it and make it make sense. But
a lot of it's an art to world building.
What's that?
What do you say, Malachi?
It's an art to world building. It's brick by brick. You just don't go big.
Yeah.
Off the bat. I mean, it looks silly. It looks like you're trying to prove something, and you have 11 more issues that you got to print out. So people they forget that it's a skill that needs to be utilized.
Yep.
I completely agree.
It's like how everybody was mad at DC because they said DC was chasing Marvel, and that's what I feel with some indies. I feel like they're chasing DC and Marvel to get that multiverse.
Or the creators that are in indie and small press are just treating it as a stepping stone to get to them, and you can tell the difference in the writing.
Yeah,
and I think somebody and I had a conversation, maybe several people and I. There are so many indie creators right now who are just in it to try to get a movie deal. And they're just writing books to get a movie deal, and you can tell their heart is not in it. Like if you'd rather write screenplays, just go write a screenplay. Like nobody's making you write a comic book.
Exactly. But they're doing that because that's the thing now. Everybody wants that next.
It's where the money is.
Franchise, exactly.
It's where you get that mid range, that next range that's above small press, where you get like Scout Comics and that group. That's the only way they make money now. Literally, the only way they make money is to sell those movie rights.
Yeah, they want to be that next Snyder is what they want to be.
Or something. Yeah.
Or Umbrella Academy on Netflix. Like they're looking for Netflix deals. They're looking for Hulu deals.
Yeah.
They're looking for, and it's like, bro, chill out. You got one comic book. Like,
yeah, just keep it going.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that just let the interest generate itself,
Exactly.
because then someone comes to you and it's a lot smoother of a transition than you trying to wedge yourself into something where you're not ready for.
Exactly. And not to mention, like in the movie world, if someone's coming to you to turn your comic into a movie and you have one issue, you can believe they're going to pull the rug from under you, and it's not going to be good. You know, most times they want something. Like I used to write movie scripts and stuff like that, and not sold or anything, but I learned about that industry, and that's the reason why like I changed my degree, because I was going for my degree in media arts and animation, and then I changed the business because I was like, I don't want to get screwed over, because it's cutthroat in the business world. It is cutthroat. If they're coming at you and you got one issue, they're about to take everything. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
They want their best bet is to get about 70 issues, 80 issues, 100 issues, and then try to make a movie deal. Because then, like you said, you built that interest. People know you. So if someone tries to pull the rug from under you, you're going to have a fighting chance. You know, like I've seen people who didn't even release a comic. They're like, oh, we got a movie deal. How? You didn't even like, someone's about to take your stuff. I promise you. That's what's going to happen.
All they did was they thought you had a decent plot and a decent storyline, so they bought you out so that they can take it and make it their own.
Exactly.
That's our thing that we talk about a lot at Catalyst. Is there's a couple of properties we know that could be poised to do that kind of stuff, but if we write them, we want to get far enough in that if it gets picked up by somebody and turned into any of those kind of properties, and people want more of the story, they have to come back to us, not continue through that storyline.
Exactly. And that's the best part with it. That's the smarter way of doing it. Or just do the damn comics, man. Like
for sure. For sure. Like I said earlier, if it happened, it's because they would come to us. It's never going to be us chasing people down. First off, I don't have the time to do it or the patience.
Yeah.
Because if you ever get to the point that you're in that stuff, they drag their feet unlike anything you've ever seen. Hollywood drags their feet.
And
there's no rush. Yeah.
And in most cases too, like once they get that movie rights, like you can't even create anything else after that. You know, unless you know how to finagle your contract, just like The Walking Dead.
Exactly.
He was doing that long enough to where he understood how that stuff worked. So when they started making the series, I guarantee you somewhere in his contract, he was like, hey, I can still keep making comics from this. And he put that in his contract. Most individuals aren't going to think to do that. They're just going to be like, oh, wow, you want to make a movie? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and sign it right away.
Yep, exactly. You know, and then they're making a movie and like, oh, I'm going to make another comic. They're like, hold on. You can't do that. We're about to make a movie. You can't make even DC was fighting with that amongst themselves when they were like, you know, oh, you can't use this character on CW because we're going to use them in the movies and vice versa and stuff like that. Even they were fighting amongst each other, and they know the game, you know. So imagine what it would be like for an indie person who does not know how that works, and you're just trying to get that movie deal. You know, it's wild.
I think you just hit one of the other like major falling points in indie comics and indie creators. Most of us. I'm going to say us just because it makes it sound more inclusive. Most of us are bad at business. You know, we just wanted to make comics. Then you go to put one comic out. All of a sudden you're like, oh, crap. Well, now I have to fulfill this and I have to figure out how the money side of stuff works. And
what do you mean taxes?
Dude. What? Or I have to pay taxes on this?
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I said I switched my degree, like, because I had one person ask me, like, so why did you switch from art? I was like, I wanted to understand how things work in the business world, so I wouldn't screw myself over. And I had someone else ask me because they were younger, and they wanted to get in comics, and they were thinking about going for art. And they asked me, they were like, so what do you think I should do? I was like, major in business. And they're like, really? I'm like, yes. Major in business. I'm like business development, business administration, small business, entrepreneurship. Find some business major.
You mean don't spend $80,000 on an art degree so that you can continue to draw the pictures that you were already drawing
that you're already doing. And that's honestly, it's funny you say that because that was my wake up call. Because I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, I'm majoring in art, but I thought about it. I'm like, wait a second, I'm teaching myself.
Look, man, we had this guy come to us at a con. I'm going to call the school out too because I don't give a crap. We had a guy come to us at a con. It was he was about 19, 20. And he was his second or third year at SCAD in Georgia.
Oh my God, SCAD is so overpriced.
Dude, so yeah, okay, so you guys know that it's just insane.
I'm in Atlanta. Yeah, I know.
So this dude comes up to Matt and I. This is Matt and I's second show. We don't know what the heck we're doing. We have like 2 books out. We still, to this day, we still don't, for the most part, don't know what we're doing. We're just we just try stuff, hope it works out. This kid comes up to us and he's like, "Hey man, are you guys looking at publishing other people's stuff?" And we get to talk to him, and he told us to go over to the SCAD table if we get a break. So we do. And we meet his teacher, and they start showing us this kid's portfolio. And while Matt's looking at the kid's portfolio, which is good, it's a very like Scotty Young styles, which has its place, like Middle West kind of feel. I'm talking to the teacher, who is a writer that none of us have ever heard of because he's that good. And he showed me the script that he gave this kid, and it was a 1-page Marvel style, just straight up, no paneling or anything. And so this kid's doing this dude's comic book for free while the kid's paying, 80 grand or whatever it is for that degree that he's getting. And this kid is brainwashed to the point where he was like, it's cool to be here because I'm learning stuff. And it's almost like I have like 6 or 7 free editors. And we're like, dude, you're making this dude's going to turn around and sell this property out from under you. And you paid him.
Pretty much.
It was insane to us.
See, that's why it's important. That's the reason why when some people come to me and ask questions, I try to help if I can, or as much as I can. Because it's cutthroat, man. It really is. It's cutthroat. And if you don't pay attention, and that's why I guess with some people too, you have to be humbled. You can't come into it hard-headed and I'm gonna do what I want. Because like if you go to Aaron and ask him a question, or Malachi and ask him a question, first ask him a question and, well, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm doing what I want. Okay, we've been doing this for a bit. And if we're
that's exactly what I'm going to do.
I'm just trying to tell y'all where I screwed up. So you can learn from where I screwed up.
Exactly.
Then I'm going to see you a couple of years later. You're going to be like, hey, yeah, I remember you. How did it go? Oh, it didn't go so well. Oh, you want to listen now?
You want to buy one of my books?
That did go well. So yeah, that's one thing that does happen at a lot of schools where they see the young student's potential, and they know that person's hungry for that, and they will take full-fledged advantage of that student. That's why, like you said, to have business mindset, you have to. I do a little bit of business on the side. If you want to learn how to run your own little small business, start an eBay account. That's what I tell people.
That's a good.
You will learn, because I started an eBay account and I was like, oh, I'm making all this money. Oh, hold on, I have a monthly fee I gotta pay. How much? $100 Oh wow, because I sold this much stuff. Okay. And I gotta pay for my stamps too to mail it to them, and I gotta pay fees for PayPal to get my money, and I have to pay an extra fee to transfer to my account right now because I need the money right now to go get something to drink. Oh.
I remember the first time I had to pay taxes because I want to go file my taxes and stuff. And she was like, "So how much did you make with Sour Comics this year?" And I'm like, "Oh, I got the paperwork." She's like, "Yep, you're paying this year." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Can I have that paperback real quick?
Yeah. You all have a payment plan that I can get on?
Yeah, exactly right.
That'll be my question.
And that's the thing too. Like a lot of people don't understand that part too. Like, what are your state rates as far as your business? Like, some states. Right. If your business makes $400, you got to pay taxes.
That's my state.
See, so some states, like my state, is if you make I think it's $1,000, then you pay taxes. And so it's like you got to find that stuff out. So if you did a Kickstarter and you got a $10,000 Kickstarter,
you made money. You made money that they want.
Yep. Even if all of it went to shipping.
Oh yeah,
you made money,
and most of it did.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing people don't know either. Shipping, it will be the most expensive part.
But that's like he just said. Run an eBay, and then I was thinking the same thing. Where it's like, I'll run a Kickstarter too, or any crowdfunding.
Yeah,
because by the time you're finished fulfilling, you're going to be like, oh crap.
Yep. or do drop shipping, which a lot of eBayers do drop shipping and stuff like that.
That's why a lot of times when I'm selling a DVD or something, I go straight to media mail. It's only like $3 or $2. And so, but everything else, I'm like, dang it, that's another $9 or $8 I gotta pay per pack. I'll get. But yeah, that's a big part that a lot of people don't look at the business side. They just see the glitz and glamour. Oh, I can make all this money. and then they don't realize that you can get a $10,000 contract and only get like $2,000 out of it.
Exactly.
Because you got to pay for the people that are working behind the scenes that are making you look good. So, and plus you got employees. Yeah. So that's
the bigger you get, the bigger it gets.
Malachi, what are some of the pitfalls you see, Malachi, in indie comics? And we'll be wrapping up soon, and we have confirmed, in fact, that the Indie Comics Dispatch account is one of the accounts that has been extended for Instagram Live time. Instagram Live is now up to 4 hours, and we are apparently blessed to be part of that roll-up.
So they gave that because I was about to mention that because you said it was going to stop, and I was like, well, mine didn't.
We're still going, man. We're still going.
Sweet.
So, Malachi, what are some of the pitfalls you see, and then we'll do a wrap up.
Pitfalls that I usually see, a breakdown in communication, or an apparent disregard for communication. People, most I'm not going to say most creators, but some of the more willful or headstrong ones think they are above advice or working together. It's annoying, especially when you're supposed to be in this fellowship, and trying to build something together. But a lot of people, they show their true colors. They're only in it for themselves, and it's a hard pill to swallow. Especially when you're still getting used to this community, but you learn how to adapt quickly. So communication is key.
Most definitely. You gotta tell those type too by the way they treat their artists, because I've seen some individuals who won't even mention their artists, and I've known them like, you can't even draw. I know you didn't draw that book. Why aren't you mentioning your artist? And to me, that used to always make me feel like horrible. I'm like, you're gonna lose your artists because you have them, and you're making it look like you're doing everything, and you're not even mentioning your artist, not mentioning your editor, your letter. You're not mentioning anybody. Like you said, that's that. Usually those headstrong individuals or those individuals that just want all the limelight on them.
It's funny you say that, because I have the first book that I ever wrote and was published through a different company, and no one will ever know that I wrote it, and they'll never know who the artist was on it. Wow. And it's a good story, but that's the way our names aren't on the cover. And this dude he did his own thing.
That's dirty.
It is.
Is that what pushed you to create Catalyst?
Oh no, I was already doing it at the time.
You was already doing it, okay.
But I had that mindset of I should try to get out there somehow. And this dude, he has man. I could talk about that dude all day, man, because he has another property that I created, and it's going to be the same exact thing, because I know that artist is almost done with it. This particular one he's been working on for 2 years now, and I'm working with that artist on a different project. And I went to that guy and I was like, dude, can I buy that property off of you? Because first off, I love it. And the artist loves it. And you're not doing anything with it. It's been 2 years. Yeah. And the dude was just like, nah. I was like, God.
That's wild. He doesn't make any money, he'll sell it. Watch, when he doesn't make anything from it, he'll sell it then.
It's actually sad that a lot of people go through that. One thing, unfortunately, that I've learned is I stopped looking and stopped asking people to be my mentor.
Yes.
Because it's no one wants to help you. They don't
and they will hurt you
to get above them. But I'm like, isn't that the whole thing with teacher and student? You're teaching me to do better, but you're already 10 steps ahead of me, so I'm expecting you to do even better than I did. Because you have that experience. But I've asked people to mentor me, so let's just get to the point where I just pray and I research and try to find stuff myself, because I can't deal with the ask you to be my mentor. I had asked someone to be my mentor when I was going to school, because I went to school for doing hair too, and I asked her to be my mentor, and she was like, "Oh, I have to have lunch with you because I got to see what you all about." I don't know. What do you mean, see what I'm all about? I'm all about becoming better and doing hair.
That's
why you asked.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say, Aaron.
And she was like, "No, I got to see what you're all about." And I was like,
"You already put."
I didn't even bother to contact her again after that.
You already put the first foot out there by saying, "Hey, can you be my mentor?" That right there should have been enough to let her know that you was serious.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I think she was more afraid that I was going to do a lot better than she did because I've already had been doing hair 8+ years before I went to school.
That's what you see in, and I love the indie comics community. I love the small press community. They've been great people. I'm meeting more people. Getting on Instagram through Indie Comics Dispatch. I met a lot of different people because we weren't even messing with Instagram. And then I was like, there's a whole other side to the indie comics. Anyway, but it's that same thing where we kind of started getting going and people were like, oh, let me help you along, little puppy. And then once you start doing okay or finding your own footing, all of a sudden it seems a little bit saltier out here. And I don't know why. we're just out here trying to do stuff. And
stop talking to you and everything.
It's like you take the leash off and let them play in the dog part. And there's the big dog in the corner. You're like, oh. What's that over there?
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times too.
And Tyr and I both have been there with non-comic creation, even. So it's funny how it's funny how that pops up.
So that's your problem with John Romita Jr. Okay,
that's it. Yes, that man.
What is your deal with this man, and who is this man?
But I've never wanted to get him on my podcast so bad in my life.
Brett, you need to tell this story before you close off.
About John Romita Jr.?
Yes.
I just hate him. Like, I literally just hate him. He's a horrible artist, and the only reason he has a job is because of his dad. There, I said it.
Plus, oh my God.
Yeah.
Plus, I kind of wanted to start a rivalry. Like, do you know the Matt Damon, Jimmy Kimmel rivalry? I kind of want to have one of those rivalries for indie comics.
But they hang out outside of
that. They do, yeah.
You don't seem like you would be hanging
out. Hate. No, I wouldn't.
And then
you start answering back.
Tag him in the Instagram post.
Oh,
about this tonight. So I went to the page and was like,
he's not really on Instagram. He's posted like 2 pictures because again, he doesn't even have a computer. So it's one of those things.
But you know what's gonna happen when he comes back to Instagram? He's gonna see that.
That's right.
Who are these guys?
Who are these indie comics?
What's this guy? He's gonna become a fan and he's gonna love me. No, that's not true. I do want to say E4 Comics on Instagram just said a new world opened up for him on Instagram within the indie comics community, and Decimation Earth. I assume that's 9. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not sure if I pronounce it X or if it's 9. Again, my mouth does weird things. But he's just saying, hey, he's got a Kickstarter going on that looks freaking amazing. And so check out him also. Before we go, and we're going to wrap up here in just a minute, I want to share next week's promo art. We're talking superhero team comics. We have a whole slew of guests that will be on, and there are Tyr and I in our wonderful spacesuits.
Traveling the indie comics universe.
9. Thank you, Decimation Earth 9. He that's what I thought, but yeah. I wasn't 100% sure, so thank you for that. Check out his Kickstarter. Search it, Decimation Earth on Kickstarter. Looks really cool. I can't wait to. I got issue 1. He sent me issue 1 for a review. We're gonna get that up soon. I can't wait to read it. Looks really awesome. Guys, any closing words? Tyr, talk about Sovereign Comics for a minute. Malachi, talk about Wingless. Aaron, talk about Catalyst. Give your guys self a plug before we go.
Well, Sovereign Comics, you can find me on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at sovereigncomics.com. We have a lot coming. We just finished the Stars Kickstarter not too long ago, and that did well. That was actually the highest grossing and highest back Kickstarter that we've done. So I'm hoping that's a sign of things to come. You know, people are learning more about us. I'm getting out there. I'm aggressively marketing. Thank you, MBA and marketing. I learned a lot. I'm aggressively marketing now, which I wasn't doing before. I was horrible at it before. But yeah, so that did well. I do have a Kickstarter plan for Cypher Team issue 1 to pretty much get that out there to more individuals. We are working on Stars issue 2, which I'm in the middle of inking, and we have a couple more pages to pencil before I finish the inks on that.
Posted the cover today. Was that today?
Yeah, yesterday. I posted the cover yesterday. And like I said, those girls, they get their asses whooped. So acid book. But the cool part is people like that. They're like, "What? They're getting acid?" I'm like, one of the first stories I wrote in high school. It was kind of like a Super Sentai type story, but with my own characters and everything like that. So like Power Ranger-esque type deal. And yeah, the villains won. So I don't have a problem making the villains win. So like, heroes get their butts whooped a lot in my comics. So yeah, we're working on that, issue 2 of that. Working on issue 2 of Temple High, and then we're going to be working on issue 3 of Cypher Team, which kind of dives more into. There's like this running thing. You know how like Marvel had their what was it, Tahiti? I think it was. Between Coulson and May, it was Tahiti and stuff like that. And I think even Hawkeye and Black Widow, I think they did with Tahiti too. So I kind of like did the same thing, but it was like it's more like a No More Miamis type of deal. And in issue 3, you find out just what happened in Miami that pretty much flipped the Sovereign Comics universe on its head. It pretty much put everything that's going on now and put it in a movement, and it wasn't a good thing. A lot of emotional stuff happened. So if you're a crier, I don't recommend you reading issue 3 because you're gonna find out a lot of stuff. You're gonna be like, what the hell is going on? Like, what's going on here? So we got a lot of stuff coming. And I think you all will like it. I think you all. And I'm gonna post that cover tomorrow. I'm gonna kind of give you a hint. I'm gonna post that cover tomorrow. So
nice. Malachi, what's going on with her and Wingless Comics?
Yes. So Wingless Comics has recently released our second Kickstarter, which is for Nightfall. We've been aggressively marketing for that as well. Mm-hmm. And as Brian mentioned earlier, we were funded as of today, around 12:30. So we still have 10 days left. So, we would still welcome any type of coinage that is sent to us. And, we're really excited because this is, I'm not going to say it's the first indie, crossover, but, we're hoping that it'll send shockwaves, down the road. We actually partnered up with Concept Moon Studios as well as Constant Hustle. Yes. So after that, personally, I'm really looking forward to 2021 because we're going to release Justice #2.
Sweet.
And my baby, Her #1. So
wait.
Very, very, very excited about that. I already had the first 4 issues written for her.
Wow.
I'm also working on her the sequel to the novel about her that I released a couple years ago. So I'm hoping that by January, the sequel I'm going to release, which will be called Gods and Monsters, and that may lead into Her #1. So I'm still playing with that. I just need this year to hurry up and die because it has been a hellacious year.
Yes.
And I'm excited for what's going to happen. I think we had mentioned it before in the previous podcast. The only good thing about 2020 was that the indie community could release their books because if you remember, DC and Marvel couldn't do anything for like 3 months.
And we were still coming.
So, yeah, so this year needs to die so we can continue living at the end.
It's funny you say that 'cause I think 2020 was the year of indie. We were giving people what they needed for sure. But when the big boys fell, it was like, hey, here we are. So yeah, it was. I agree with you. That was the cool part about 2020.
Aaron, what we got going on at Catalyst?
Let's see. Well, first on the Beards and Comics, front for the podcast. It's really for people that are kind of getting into comics, or if you've been in there a while, you just want to hear people joke around and chat about being in comics. The gentleman above me to my
right.
What direction are you?
Right? Is it the right? Yeah, the right here in the middle.
Your left, our right.
Yeah.
What they said. He'll be joining us. We're recording on Sunday, so he'll have a couple episodes coming out the next couple of weeks.
He's a talker. Let me warn you, he's a talker.
Come on.
Well, you know Matt and I well enough to know we are too. So
That's true. That's true. You guys will get along great.
So
maybe
maybe 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So that'll drop next Thursday. Will be the first one. So that's it for the podcast. Catalyst wise, we just wrapped up Tilt 3's Kickstarter. Joe, our artist, is getting his actual tattoo done like next week or something.
I can't wait.
I know, me either. It's super humbling for us because again, we're still new, but you know, the artist likes our stuff enough. He was like, if we hit this amount, I'm gonna get an actual tattoo. And
is he getting the like a character or the logo?
He's getting the Tilt logo.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's cool.
he's been doing indie comics for like 20 years, so it's humbling for us.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, Tilt 3, we're getting everything in the mail, so we'll be shipping that out soon. Brett's getting some extra stuff because, you know, he cosplayed Tilt.
Gotta love it.
It was the one cosplay I felt qualified to do.
I was like, Britt's cosplaying? Now I got to cosplay.
Yeah, man. I plan to hit that pretty hard next year.
Yeah.
I want to see somebody do Exquisite. But, which is super simple. Just wear a suit and you're good to go. Irregardless. So aside from that, Tilt 4 is going to be green. It's already greenlit. So that'll be hitting Kickstarter early 2021. And then One Last Job is something we kind of just recently announced, and I haven't really let people know what that is, but that is it is a spy espionage story. And we just hired an artist on that book, and it's going to be a 4-issue short. So that is seeming like it's going to be a little bit faster coming than we thought it was. We didn't even have it on the schedule for next year. Things just kind of fell into place. And then Paradigm 2, back in the Catalyst Comic Superhero Universe, Paradigm 2 is coming out next year. And Afterglow, space sci-fi epic, is another one. And then we're looking at buying somebody else's property. So we might be publishing our first non-us property. So that's about it.
Very cool.
So I have a question about One Last Job.
Yeah.
All of us are writers, so you know the tropes.
Mm-hmm.
One Last Job. So is someone gonna die? Because you know every time a detective is like 2 days from retirement.
One last
This is
job.
my last stakeout. You know,
Basically, it's a blend of Mission Impossible and Bourne Identities series. It's kind of when you think you know what's going on, something changes, and then you're like, oh crap.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Now I got some books to look forward to. I got to look forward to Her, which I'm glad I know is coming out in 2021. Since we talked to you last time, Malika, I've been looking forward to that book. So Her, One Last Job. There we go. I'm looking forward to both of them. So
Whip.
First has a wonderful YouTube channel under Scorpio Chronicles. Does tons of unboxing and reviews on there. We're getting him. I think we're gonna get him soon doing video reviews for the Dispatch. So we're working towards it. First, tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and where people can find you and follow you.
It's currently under construction right now because I was looking at my channel and I was like, it's cute. Oh Lord, I look like everybody else on YouTube, so I have to make some changes. I'm like, everybody's doing an unboxing, everybody's doing a review. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I am a completely different animal of a different breed that meshed with another breed that may be completely different. So I cannot look like everybody else. So right at my 57 subscribers, which if you're watching, I do thank you very much. So just hold off. I'm coming back with more. But of course, like he said, I'm doing unboxings, reviews on comics that I've read. I do short reviews, long reviews. I try not to be too long. You can find me on YouTube at Scorpio Chronicles, just the way it's spelled. On Instagram, it's different. It's at SCO_RPIO Chronicles. And just look forward to doing new things. I have to switch it up because I'm looking like everybody else. And no, that's not good for me. My name is not first for no reason. So I have to switch it up. So, some giveaways are coming real soon. I plan on doing some nice giveaways, especially with the subscribers for YouTube. So look forward to that. There's going to be a big thing that I'm gathering up. So get ready for it.
Fantastic.
And definitely go follow him so his channel can grow.
Yes. Yes.
I want to see a plaque. I want to see him unboxing a plaque.
Yes.
Mhm.
A plaque and also a nice YouTube check.
Yep. Exactly.
Active income. You got to do it.
You got to end up paying taxes on.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. As long as I get some of it.
Guys, the
Get
dispatch is
$1
back.
back.
Exactly. The dispatch is back next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. For Superhero Team Comics. We got a great lineup for that night. Tier helped me put that lineup together. A bunch of Tier's friends who write superhero comics going to be here. We got Vonell Young. We got LaShawn Colvin from Beautiful Soldiers. We got Paul Richards from Black Moss. Gosh, I know we got more. Who else we got here?
Mike Shea from Miskatonic High.
Yes. I'm so looking forward to talking to him. It's going to be a fun night, and I'm really looking forward to that. Guys, we are here just about every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern, broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the Milky Way galaxy. And we are thankful that you've watched us either live or after the fact. If you follow us on Instagram, which is where the bulk of Indie Comic Dispatch audience is at, head over to Facebook. We're almost at 500 follows over on Facebook now. Head over to YouTube. We're up to 50 subscribes on YouTube, which I'm proud of because YouTube subscribes are hard to get. So we're on Twitter. Don't go to Twitter. Nobody should be on Twitter.
Not if you value your mental health. If you value your mental health, do not go to Twitter.
especially until like after whatever the inauguration is. Like, just stay off. I got on today. I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have come here.
I mean, maybe just try 2022 or something like that. I don't know.
I'm covering up Aaron's face with the Dispatch logo. There we go. I'm much better now. So guys, follow us, like, subscribe on whatever social media channel you're on. Yes, even if that's Twitter, follow us there. We got you coming up this Sunday with David Crownson, Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. Yes, I've already interviewed him once, but he just launched Kingwood Comics, a whole new comic print company thing. Yeah, so he's going to be putting out.
Small poster, small press.
Small press.
We've established this already today.
Exactly.
From the Small Press Dispatch.
God, I hope he doesn't have a Cthulhu book.
Yeah, me too. Kind of like. So anyway, check it out this Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. David is always a fun one to interview because dude is animated, dude is excited, he is passionate. He's got some great books out there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Kingwood does. Everybody, if you don't follow Sovereign Comics, if you don't follow Scorpio Chronicles, if you don't follow Mal the Writer, if you don't follow Catalyst Comics, go follow them.
ASAP.
They're posting great stuff. Everybody, we will see you later. Instagram, great to be with you for this amount of time. We really appreciated you staying with us for up to 4 hours.
Hey, Yellow Duck.
Hey, Yellow Duck. I'm goodbye, Instagram.
Yeah. It didn't get, obviously, Yellow Duck didn't get the memo.
Give him the axe.
This has been extended.
I know. Come on. All right, everybody else, Instagram's going. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Until next time. Bye, everybody.
Take it easy.